So, it's finally happened. The Nintendo Switch 2 has been formally announced by Nintendo. Now, we got a 2.5-minute trailer kind of showing off a bit of the system, what it's going to be capable of, what it's going to do, even though we didn't really get to see a lot that I feel like they're saving for the April Direct that we're going to have. I do think they showed off a bit to at least give us some information that we can talk about here. So, today's video, I'm going to be talking about most of the main things that we've learned about the Nintendo Switch 2, but I'm also going to be talking about a lot of the criticisms that have been popping up around this system, about how Nintendo's lost their creative edge and all that jazz. So, we're going to get into that later in the video, but before we even get to that, let's talk about the system and what we know, and if you enjoyed the video, definitely make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff down below, and without any further ado, let's get right on into it. So let's start off with talking about the trailer, because holy crap, we got a good look at the system. Now, one thing I do want people to realize is that we're only really seeing a 3D rendering of the console. We're not seeing an actual physical unit itself. Obviously, the gooey slurpy-like noises aren't a feature on the Joy-Con, so these are all 3D renders and models by Nintendo, so at this point, we still haven't seen a real Switch 2 in action, so I want people to keep that in mind when talking about the visuals of the system. There could be things that Nintendo's not showing us because it's a 3D render, but regardless, we do get a good look at the system here, how it is a lot bigger than the main Nintendo Switch that we have, how it has the bigger Joy-Cons, it has the extra button on the front of the right Joy-Con, which we don't really know anything about, how it has the back button thing to help taking the Joy-Cons off a lot easier, and of course the fact that the Joy-Cons get applied via magnets as opposed to slotting them on and off. I think the one thing I really do like about the Nintendo Switch 2 is just that looking at it, it's got a lot more polish, I think, than the original Switch. It looks a lot sleeker, it looks a little more, you know, like gamer-y. It doesn't look as much like a toy. Now, some people may love that, some people might hate that, but I do kind of like it. The system looks sleek, you can't lie. Like, it looks pretty dang good. And like I said, these are all just renderings, but if the actual physical console itself looks just as cool as the renders do, then I think we got a pretty cool looking system on our hands. And of course, we have the confirmation that this console is called the Nintendo Switch 2. It's not the Super Nintendo Switch, it's not the Nintendo Switch Ultra or anything crazy like that. And I think this was just the smartest move Nintendo could have made. People are saying that this is like super lazy, even though PlayStation's been doing it for generations. But regardless, I think this was smart because of the fact that, honestly, with the Wii U and how Nintendo really failed to market it as a successor to the Wii, it really made a lot of people confused, and I feel like calling it something like the Super Nintendo Switch just makes it sound like a stronger version of a regular Nintendo Switch. So having the 2 at the end clarifies without any shadow of a doubt that this is a successor, a sequel, a follow-up to the original Switch. Now, I get it, you know, it's not a super exciting name, but it serves the purpose of the Switch well enough, and besides, the name of the console isn't the reason you're going to buy the console, it's for the games, which we really haven't seen much of, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, we do get some other information, some other tidbits about the Nintendo Switch 2 that they kind of, you know, show little pictures of at the end, which firstly, we learn of the fact that there's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct on April 2nd of this year, where I'm assuming they're going to show off more of the games, they're probably going to show off the hardware in action, and obviously the release date, the price, all of that jazz will most likely be talked about in this Nintendo Direct, and I'm very excited for it. Obviously, we got about 2.5 months, a little bit less than that until this Direct, and I know it seems like a long time away, but honestly, 2.5 months really goes like that, so I don't feel like it's going to be that long of a wait for Nintendo fans. At least we know of the day, you know, no Nintendo, you know, rumors or leaks can leak that out. Nintendo wanted to get ahead of the game, say, hey, this is when it's going to happen, and I respect Nintendo for it. We also learned something that I believe we kind of already knew, but we got reconfirmation that most Nintendo Switch 1 titles will work on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I say most because there are certain titles that won't be compatible. Now, I'm assuming certain games that require the IR sensor, like, you know, Ring Fit Adventure, Nintendo Labo, 1-2 Switch, they won't be fully compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2, but I'm wondering if the Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons will work on the Nintendo Switch 2, kind of like how the Wiimotes could work on the Wii U, so I don't know. I just think, you know, at the end of the day, it's safe to say that, you know, some games just might not be, you know, like fully compatible unless you've had a Switch 1 and have Switch 1 Joy-Cons. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Nintendo said that they're going to put more information on their website at a further date to, you know, to specify this further. And we also do get to learn this really cool thing that Nintendo's going to be hosting some Nintendo Switch 2 experiences all around the world, where you could sign up for, you know, a different playtest of the Nintendo Switch 2 in cities, like I said, all around the world. They mainly publicize the ones in the US, being in New York, I think Los Angeles and Dallas, I'm pretty certain, or like San Francisco is a city in California regardless. But there are also playtests in these cities, which Nintendo really didn't do a great job of showing off, I don't think. So if you live in or near one of these cities and you want to sign up for the playtest, I'll leave a link down in the description down below where you can check out and sign up for a playtest in these regions. Now, you can only sign up for one playtest per region, and it is selected, you know, via raffle. It's not like you can just sign up and go. You have to be actually selected to be able to attend the event that you've raffled for. And you can only sign up, like I said, for once per location. So I could sign up once for here and once for Dallas if I wanted to, but I can't sign up twice for New York. So keep that in mind. Talking about some speculation stuff, there is one thing that we saw that kind of alludes to some things that might have been leaked earlier, and that's the multifunction of these new Joy-Cons as mice. We see them sliding around like mice, you know. Now, you know, obviously this isn't completely confirmed, you know, there's no actual action of anyone clicking them like mice, but they're sliding around, they might be like mice, or this could just be a really cool animation, but I don't know. I wanted to include this in here because I don't want to say, oh my god, 100% confirmed. It could have just been a cool little animation so the Joy-Cons are sliding around, but it could also be kind of a low-key confirmation that we are going to be getting those mice-like features, but I'm sure we'll get more information on that in the upcoming Nintendo Direct as well. Now, the last major thing that we saw in this trailer is that they did announce one Nintendo Switch 2 title, being Mario Kart, whatever they end up calling it. Look, you know, I don't care if it's Mario Kart 9 or 10. I know a lot of people have heated discussions about that because they argue about the legitimacy of Tour, but either way, a new Mario Kart game is on the way. I'll be doing a whole video dedicated to just this game probably later this week, so stay tuned for that. But what I will say is I think that this game looks amazing. I mean, 24-player Mario Kart, you know, with new character models and Donkey Kong looking all weird. You know, it seems like Nintendo is going to be in a little bit of a more experimental era. They're not just playing it safe. They're not using the same models that they've been using for the past 20 years. They're actually trying different stuff, and I really respect Nintendo for it. Of course, this is visually, but a lot of the animations look really smooth as well. You can see a lot of, you know, some really cool animations by Mario, and I really hope that this is just a small sign of things to come with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, of course, we don't get complete direct feed of the game, so we don't really get to see exactly how good this game is going to look. Obviously, not only is the video compressed when being uploaded to YouTube, but I'm sure it got compressed going into the trailer, being put onto the Nintendo Switch 2 screen, you know, in the trailer. So I think that we haven't gotten a proper look at it yet. I mean, obviously, people have to up-res the footage to really get a good look at a lot of the things in that gameplay for Mario Kart. So like with everything else, we'll probably see more in the April Nintendo Direct. I'm very excited to see more of it. Now, I wanted to address something really quickly in regards to a lot of the criticism that I've seen of a lot of people saying Nintendo's lost their innovative spark. I just want to say, firstly, I feel like Nintendo showed off this console just to shut everyone up about the leaks and about what everyone has seen. Obviously, in my opinion, this is a pretty quickly thrown together trailer. Like, you know, I have a feeling that something about this wasn't quite planned, but because of a lot of the leaks and a lot of the things getting out there, Nintendo had to, you know, get up and say, okay, we're going to show off kind of, you know, what the system is, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to learn more full details. And I get it if you're disappointed that Nintendo didn't show more, because obviously I want to see more too, but Nintendo's going to do that down the road. Patience is a virtue. But what I won't defend is people saying that the console isn't innovative because, you know, it's basically just following up from what the Nintendo Switch 1 has done. It's basically becoming an iterative console. Firstly, all of Nintendo's handhelds, from the Game Boy until now, have basically been iterative handhelds. You know, from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Color to the Game Boy Advance to the DS to the DS Lite to the DSi to the 3DS, all of the stuff has had iterations of the same idea. So this is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new for Nintendo. And secondly, I feel like it's important, you know, like, because obviously a lot of people are sad that there's no wacky, creative, weird ideas that Nintendo is putting into the system. And honestly, most times that Nintendo has put a wacky spin on things, it's never really worked out that well for them. I mean, yeah, motion controls worked on the Nintendo Wii, but thinking of the Wii U with the tablet, the GameCube, you know, with some of its designs, and the Nintendo 64, there are some times where Nintendo's tried wacky things that just didn't quite work. And I feel like playing it safe and focusing on power is something that is important to not just Nintendo, but the player base as well. Because you gotta remember, yes, Nintendo's got their own first-party lineup that they want to get out there, but Nintendo has said themselves that they want to also get a lot more support from third-party companies. So if we get a new Nintendo Switch, obviously I'm not expecting the new Nintendo Switch to be as powerful as the Xbox Series X or the PS5 or anything like that, but I'm expecting it to be at a somewhat competent level of power to where third parties, where, you know, they were developing for the Nintendo Switch 1, now they're actually going to start really focusing a lot more on the Switch 2 because they think, and probably so, that it will sell pretty well because guess what? It's got the Nintendo Switch name. But of course, you know, we don't know how the sales are going to be yet. It's too early to say. We haven't even seen the whole system yet. Like, there's obviously details that they're holding back from us. We haven't seen the UI. We haven't seen if the mouse thing is even true. So there's a lot of things that we don't know. So I feel like to say that this console has no innovation at all, it's just way too early to say that from a 2-minute trailer that shows us very limited stuff of a 3D rendered model of the console. But that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, I think the console looks great. I'm excited to have a more powerful Switch because I love the Nintendo Switch. I want to be able to build off of that, support more third-party games, make Nintendo games look even better, and support the back catalog of Nintendo Switch games I already have. All great stuff. And I'm really hoping that Nintendo Switch 2 ends up being really successful, and I cannot wait to hear more about it in April. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload videos. And like I said earlier, what are you guys most excited for with this console? And are you even excited at all? Let me know down in the comments down below. So, until next time, you guys, I'll see you all in the next video.